Good morning. It's day 5 of our 7 or 8 day honeymoon road trip. I was gonna make some tea for breakfast, but I didn't bring a fuel canister. So we're having yogurt, and we'll split a cheese stick. We got some Pop-Tarts and the rest of the ginger ale from a few days ago. We need to resupply today in Stanley. Need to get some more food. But it's a beautiful morning today. It's nice and sunny. Really sunny for the first time in a few days. Hopefully we can do some cool stuff today. Assuming the weather is good, we will probably hike and rock climb and go see some ghost towns and maybe hit up another couple hot springs. It'll be a good day. We were just driving along the road here and I glanced up and saw a little waterfall, so we doubled back to take a better look at it. We're about 5 minutes from the climbing spot, but we passed a sign announcing Sunbeam Hot Springs, which are one of the springs on our list to see today, and so we thought we'd stop by, especially since there were no other cars in the parking lot. So we're just gonna check them out, and if they look good, we might pull out our bathing suits. We've got the Salmon River here, and I think this is the spring, the hot spring area. Beautiful river. Cassie's gonna wade in and test the waters. Too hot? Maybe over here more? So should we get in or no? Yeah, so the problem is that all the hot water is coming in from here. You can see it piped in and trickling in, and the cold water is here, and it's not mixing super well, so it's super hot here and freezing over here. So I don't think we're gonna get in and soak and enjoy. It's a pretty area though. Just over from the other spot is this little soaking tub down here that we're gonna go check out. Yeah, this pool is actually a perfect temperature right now, this little soaking tub. It's a nice spot to soak your legs, soak your feet. It's pretty. So I'm parked over here. I think I'm gonna move the car back here. And we are going climbing on this slab right here. You can see some bolts shining, maybe. That's a bolt. Okay, mission accomplished. We've got 3 climbs in. Feels really good. So you could be back on the rocks some more. We're gonna pack up here, head back down to the car and go explore some ghost towns. The ghost towns that we're driving to are called Bonanza and Custer, and they were mining towns. And all of this stuff here, this is all stuff that was left over from the Dredge machine thing that went through the earth and separated the earth from the gold. There's a lot of it here. It's the sign back there said that it goes for 6 miles. All this piles of earth goes for 6 miles along the valley here. And this was all sifted through. So this is Bonanza, ghost town of Bonanza. You can see some old derelict buildings over there. And some more right here. So I believe these things are from the 40s and 50s. That's when the mining heyday was. This is the Yankee Fork Dredge. This is the thing that floated on the water and basically chewed up the bottom of the river to suck gold out. I think I was reading online that you can take a tour. There are guided tours at certain times of the day, and you can also do self-guided tours. So we'll walk around a little bit and share whatever we find that's interesting. So here's the Dredge. It operated mostly, I think, in the 40s and 50s. There's a $5 per person self-guided tour that we're not going to do. And just looking at it from the outside is enough for us. The amount of gold extracted by this thing would have made a cube of gold about 2 feet square and was worth $1.2 million. I assume and hope that was 1940s, 1950s dollars and not today's dollars. 3 people at a time would be on board operating this thing. There are restoration efforts of various kinds throughout the valley here, the river valley, to try to restore the natural habitat a little bit, but I mean, this thing just destroyed basically the bottom of the valley. But it is an impressive bit of machinery and engineering. Like I said, there were 3 people who would operate this thing. One guy would be up here and control, which way the thing faced and basically controlled everything. And then there were 2 guys oiling everything. A guy, I think, back here oiling the buckets, and then a guy up here oiling this thing. The buckets out here at the front would rotate and dig up the gravel and everything, and then this big thing would spit them out like this so that they weren't close to the dredge itself. This thing is just massive. Here are the buckets over here. There are 71 buckets on the line here. Each one weighs a ton. And here's one of them. It's just solid steel or iron or something.
this on the nickel that frost.
We went into the gift shop to get a few things, some treasures. We got 2 Idaho Spuds, which is like chocolate on the outside and I think marshmallow and coconut on the inside. A couple of these cordials. I think this one is milk chocolate on the outside and Idaho huckleberry on the inside. And this one is white chocolate on the outside and blueberry on the inside. And then, you know, authentic local Reese's also. The candy bar that makes Idaho famous.
Never heard of it.
Interesting.
That's good.
What does it taste like?
Chocolate and coconut. I don't really like marshmallows, but it's good.
Just a mile or so up from the last spot, Bonanza, is Challis. It's another mining town from the late 1800s to early 1900s. I believe there's a museum up here. I think we're just gonna kind of wander around and see what looks interesting. We're not gonna take a tour or anything. But it looks like there's a nice little guided tour here. There are lots of these informative signs saying what used to be on the site. Yeah, and there are numbers on each one that probably correspond to like a self-guided walking tour, something like that. Welcome to Custer, Idaho. Empire Saloon. Road impassable 7 miles ahead. Okay, well, we were considering driving this road all the way to Challis, this way, where our motel is tonight, but guess not. We went into the saloon there and looked around. There's a gift shop. Here's the valley that we're in. Beautiful place. We got a little walking tour pamphlet guide thing. It has 25 spots on it. We asked what the most interesting spots were and she said just across the street here. So we've got a little museum and just some mining relics out in front. Pretty interesting. The museum was the old schoolhouse, built in 1900 and restored in 1990. Behind the schoolhouse here, there are a few graves. There was a house here and an avalanche came down and just destroyed the house and killed 3 little kids. Another avalanche prevented them from being buried in the cemetery, so they were buried just behind the schoolhouse here. There are only a few buildings here now, but apparently there were over 100 at the town's peak. And this is what a miner's cabin would have looked like. Here's another miner cabin. Coat rack, I guess. I'd live here. So we're in one of the nicer houses in town here, and this is a poker table, and this says that bullet holes came from beneath. So someone had a gun down here, was holding it and I guess shot up into someone. Yikes. It says here, bullet holes in table came from underneath table during poker game in Mackenzie Saloon. It's 3:30 now. we're done here in Custer. Gonna head back out the way we came, back to the highway. We might hit up a hot spring or two on our way back to, Challis, where our motel is for the night. It should be a nice scenic drive out that way. So there's been an interesting development here. I locked my keys in the car and my wallet in the car, so at a parking spot for hot springs, and so we've hitched a ride back into town. We were about 10 miles east of Stanley, and so I'm waiting. I called my mom to ask her for the AAA information, because my AAA card is in my wallet unhelpfully. So hopefully we can get this all sorted out before too long here. So the locksmith guy will be here in about an hour and 15 minutes to give us a ride to the car. And we're just sitting down here by the Salmon River in downtown Ketchum, or downtown Stanley. Nice view of the mountains. But yeah, I have AAA, and so it wasn't a huge deal. And it's not going to cost anything other than the normal AAA membership, so that's good. It's just, you know, a couple hours lost. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but we hitched a ride from my car back to town. This guy gave us a ride back. Our car is about 8.5 miles to the east of here. Really beautiful area though, really beautiful little spot. Utah doesn't have beautiful rivers like this, beautiful mountain rivers. I mean, we've got the Colorado River and some great desert rivers, some other great desert rivers, but no really good mountain rivers like this. I have a hide key, or I had a hide key. Okay, so I ran out of memory card space on my main camera, and I don't know how much it recorded before it stopped recording, but I do have a hide key on my car, or at least I did. I looked for it. I couldn't remember where I used to be, and or where I put it, and B, I think it fell off. I think it probably fell off, so I need to get that sorted when we get back to civilization. I do have a spare key in my wallet, but my wallet is also locked in the car, so that wasn't super helpful. At least I had my phone, and we were able to get back here to town, and you know, there are worse places to wait for sure. Man, these mountains are just so beautiful. It's nice to finally be able to see them. I'm just glad this happened relatively close to civilization and not, like Cassie was saying, that's not at a campsite way in the backcountry somewhere. We're hanging out at this little, I don't know, gazebo kind of thing in town.
We were on our way to the hot springs and we saw some people on the road waving for help because they have car troubles too. So Tristan's helping them, paying it forward today. Maybe we're just not meant to go to the hot springs today, but we're gonna keep trying. I think they just need to change their tires. So Tristan's looking for a wrench thing for the lug nuts. I think we might skip the hot spring today. I don't think it was meant to be. It's taken a little while for them to change the tire here, and it's getting dark pretty fast, so we're just gonna make our way to the hotel and get something to eat. Tristan's providing an extra quality service, spraying everyone down with premium bug spray while they work.
Okay, it has been a very eventful last few hours. I'm trying to think what the last thing I said was. I don't think I've updated the vlog here since I got back in the car and picked up Cassie. So we waited, it was about a 2.5 hour detour from the time I locked the keys in the car till the time I was back in the car and had picked up Cassie. So the AAA guy came, picked me up, drove me to the car, unlocked it. Then I drove back to pick up Cassie at the gas station where we were waiting. And then we were gonna drive back to those hot springs, or we were driving back to those hot springs to check them out. The ones that we had stopped at originally where I locked the keys in the car. And as we were driving, we saw this car pulled over on the side of the road and some people waving us down. And we pulled over and they had a flat tire and they needed some help. They didn't have the right size tire iron to remove the tire, remove the wheel that had the busted tire on it. And so we got mine out from my car and it fit theirs. They had a Subaru and then it worked. And man, talk about karma and paying it forward. Like that guy, we hitched a ride back into Stanley, and then we were able to help these other people, and just felt really good to be able to do that. So we decided to get while the getting's good and just forget about the hot spring. We're just going to our motel for the night. We're about 45 miles away, and on these roads maybe an hour, a little bit less than an hour to get there. And I think we're gonna treat ourselves to a nice, well, not a super nice, but a substantial dinner at a restaurant there in Challis, just to celebrate today's little victories and of getting unstuck. So that's the update. So sometime in the last couple of days, I saw Challis Bison jump on a map. I think it was earlier today. And I thought that sounded interesting, and I made a mental note to look it up. And as we were driving by on the road to Challis, we passed by it. And so I wanted to stop and show you. So in the mid-1800s, Native Americans who were mounted on horseback would drive buffalo off of the cliffs to kill them. There's not much more to say about it other than that, but this is a really pretty area surrounding the buffalo jump. Apparently archaeologists found stone tools and buffalo bones at the base of that thing, and so the base of that cliff, and so that's how they know that it was used as a bison kill spot. Beautiful light right now. Okay, back on the road, back to Challis and our motel and some dinner. I guess I'll just end the video here. I'll show the hotel a little bit. Something just flew into my eye. I'll show the hotel a little bit in the morning, I guess. I'm tired of filming for today. Crazy day, good day. Turned out to be a good day, so all's well that ends well. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what your favorite part was, and let me know if you had, or if you have, any questions. Thanks.